I'm just a light, my demons watching me. Playing spades with tarot cards, moon and stars like astrology. Reincarnated, so peep the setup, homie. Been royal millions of years, they kept the crown from me. Started off in the root chakra, primordial waters. Like walking blindfolded, everything was dark. Saw the wickedness in the world and all the cold.
Peace, 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 family. How's everybody doing? I hope you all are having a wonderful day so far. My name is Keisha. I am the owner of A Way of Life. I am a career and business coach using astrology. And today, we're going to be talking about the weekly astrology from February 28th to March 6th. So we'll start off the week with the moon in Aquarius, where we left off last week, which was a very social week. It was a great energy overall, I think. I mean, we had some bumps and bits for the most part. I think it was a good week as opposed to a not so good week. So, we're in this very kind of freeing energy of Aquarius, where people are a lot more social, they're getting out more, and interacting more, especially on social media. I feel like this is going to be more social media driven, mostly because of the weather too. Unless the weather miraculously starts to get warmer. Of course, people who are in warmer places won't be experiencing this way, but in the places where it's colder, I feel like it's going to be more social on social media, because Aquarius is the sign of social media. I think there's going to be a lot more networking, talks about networking, a meeting of the minds, coming together with great ideas, meeting your soul tribe, building off of that idea, and taking it one day at a time to come together to do something great as a humanity. I think that is the theme for the century, really, if we're being honest, as we are in the age of Aquarius. And so all Aquarian themes, I think, over the next future are going to grow tremendously in ways that I don't even think, even if I did start to break down some of these themes and get all deep and intricate into it, it's still going to be so much more amazing than we can actually think of. And so, family, please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the content, if you like what we do, spread the word, let everybody know. Hit the notifications bell so you can be notified every time we go live. We go live every week on Saturday at 9 a.m. with the weekly astrology. And as other transits come into play, we post on those and keep you up to date with that as well. All right. So Monday, moon in Aquarius, we can be feeling the need to push fast towards the future, because Aquarius is very futuristic energy. And so we can be feeling anxious and exciting. Overall, again, I think it's just going to be a great start to the week, especially for a Monday. I know even if you are still working and you got to get up and go, the one thing I think we can all agree on is Mondays typically freaking suck. Like, let's just be real. You know, they're slow. You're just coming out of the weekend and you got to go back to work. And it's like, oh, they're always such a drag. And I feel like for this particular Monday with this moon in Aquarius energy, people are going to be a lot more jovial, upbeat, and looking forward to their day as opposed to anything else. So, and then later in the day, the moon goes void. I always talk about this every week when the moon does go void. And this one's going to go void for quite some time, all the way until noon, Tuesday, the next day. And so all this is that the moon in the sky can't be seen. And whenever you can't see the moon in the sky, it's a sign of, tiredness, not a great time to make any plans or having any important discussions. But for the most part, like, obviously we can't stop our lives to be doing stuff like that, like the life must go on. But it's also kind of like a retrograde, right? And so what I tell people is that you should, more than anything, try to rest, right? Because you're going to be super, super tired. And even if you can't do that, just know that you're either going to have to repeat or have that conversation over again. Anything that you do, you're going to have to do over again. Or you're just going to be super, super, super tired, and your energy is going to feel like you're drained. Okay, and then the moon moves into Pisces. And so Pisces is very heartfelt, compassionate, and sensitive, which actually kind of goes along with the moon void energy, because Pisces is a water sign. It's not about fast movement. It's more about using your intuition and being intuitive, trusting, and having faith in the process of any goals or anything that may be going on in your life. Even if you're not having such a great time, you kind of find peace here as you build in your spirituality and, wherever you're at with your spiritual practices. This is just the building of knowing, like, this too shall pass, right? That's kind of how I feel about Pisces energy. Now, on the lower vibration of Pisces, we have illusions, delusions, mental health, addictions, lies, deceit. And unfortunately, we may not be seeing things clearly. This is the victim mentality. People that lack boundaries in any area of your life. It really depends on where this is playing out in your chart. And so, because the moon is moving into Pisces, a lot of these things can be highlighted at this time, the lower vibrations, right? Because we're always working through or working on something. So it could be showing you where you need to do some more work, right? In those areas to get to the higher vibrations of Pisces. Now, on the world stage, before I move into the higher vibrations, I just want to be clear. Pisces rules mental health institutions and prisons and pharmaceuticals. And so we could be hearing a lot more about this COVID stuff. It actually rules the entire medical fields in some way, shape, or form, along with its opposite sign, Virgo. And so we can be hearing a lot more about this COVID stuff coming up on the world stage. So be mindful for that. Who knows, what kind of news it's going to be. But for the most part, that information definitely will be on display. I can even really only imagine that this is March is Mental Health Month. Now, I don't know that for sure, but this could be that. And another reason I'm saying that is because if you look at the photo that I have displayed on the screen right now, we are going to be officially in the Pluto return of the US chart, and I'll be doing a bigger video on this. I'm recording this particular video quite early, and so maybe by the time you guys get to this video, I'll already have this information posted. But the Pluto return, you can go back to any one of my videos talking. I talked about this in great length, as well as all the yearly videos for 2022. I think it's a good time to go back and kind of get familiar with some of those things that can be coming up, because we're going to have the Neptune conjunct Jupiter, and Jupiter is currently in the sign of Pisces, and Neptune has been in Pisces. So this is going to be really big. And I'll be doing bigger lives to talk a lot more on this. But I mean, at the very least, if you are doing the work and you're making the changes you need to make in your life, this fucking energy is going to be dope. That's all I'm going to say. Now, for the people who are struggling and really still trying to find out who they are, and they're working on their spiritual practices and how to incorporate them, even though that might seem like in the moment it's a struggle, I still feel like people are going to be blessed with awakenings. They're going to be blessed with having the strength and courage to release any addictions, deceit, lies, illusions, delusions, and mental health. And I feel like every year we get a lot better about having these mental health conversations in regards to what actually is mental health. And I feel like on the societal piece, where we're in the kind of lower vibrations because the society is built for us to stay in the matrix, right? To keep us asleep, to keep us dumbed down. Yes, mental health is a real thing, and it's a terrible thing from that perspective. But on the other side of mental health is actually very intelligent people, right? And these are people who have been shunned out of society because they are misunderstood because they are intelligent and very spiritual. They have the ability to connect, and they have superpowers that are misunderstood, that connect to universal knowledge and power. And I really feel like at this time around, when we start to address mental health, we're going to start to get more into understanding the different facets of mental health, and how that and how we address that, and how we can change that for the people who have a mental health disability. I really, really, really do feel that at the very bottom of my heart, on a very bigger level, that we're going to be addressing mental health a lot differently than what we have in the past. And so the sun will be in harmony with Uranus, which again, family, I can't stress enough. Whenever we're talking about Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, we're thinking outside the box. We're very innovative, where we're getting new ideas to old solutions. And this is a massive awakening, a spiritual awakening, awakening from the matrix and the lies and deceit, awakening from lies that have been fed to us over, really, if we're talking about the Pluto return, the last 200, almost 300 years. And whenever you break down lies, it is the path of healing, because now you have the truth. And when you have the truth, you shatter a reality and it no longer exists anymore. It's not true anymore. People can't trick you with that information anymore, right? And so when you awaken to a truth, now you are forced to build a new truth. And how dope is it to be in harmony with the sun, for the sun and Pisces to be in harmony with Uranus and have that kind of awakening. Like, that's a blessing in disguise, you know? People will be more open to trying new things and innovative and moving towards the future. And then Wednesday is the new moon in Pisces. Like I said, Wednesday is March 1st. March is the luckiest month of the whole entire year. And I don't know, man. I just feel like this is going to be so flippin' magical. Now, I just got to be honest, you know. I have to break it down, you know, because Jupiter can be very dreamy and just like out of this world thinking, not realistic or grounded in any kind of truth. So, you know what? Maybe I'm feeling that, okay? I'm a glass half full kind of girl, so I do have to put that out there. I mean, essentially, when we're talking about all the lies and deceit that have been fed to us, if we're being realistic about it, the truth of the matter is that shit hurts, right? We've had a lot of things done to us as a humanity, as a society, that's just not fucking cool, right? And so, in biblical times, we are in the age, we're ending the age of Pisces, and we're celebrating the age of Aquarius. So there's endings and beginnings here. And anytime you're talking about an ending and a beginning, no matter what you do, right, that's a death. You know, and that's painful, right? So I just want to address that for the people out there who may not be experiencing this in the best of energy, but I also want you to not stay in that energy and know a change is going to come, right? And if you take the time to address that, I don't want you to just disregard your pain that you're going through. Have your moment. Accept the fact that, like, things hurt and people are going through some real things out here in life. But don't stay there, right? You have your moment. You address it. Have your temper tantrum. Fall out. Do whatever it is you need to do to release that pain. And after that, you make a promise to yourself that you're going to try to look on the brighter side of things, you know, because if you ignore your feelings and you try to act like they're not there, what you're doing is you're suppressing your emotions, and that's not healthy either. So I'm not in any way, shape or form suggesting that. But you don't want to miss out on this feeling. Give your testimony. That's another way I like to look at Pisces energy. This is very biblical. And like I said, I'll be getting more into this when I do the lives on the energy. But I'm going to talk about all the different ways that this can be coming up. But I want to make it very, 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 very clear that I don't want anybody to feel like this is all popsicles and cherry pies. It's not. That's not what I'm selling. It's not rainbows and happy times. I understand that people out there are really struggling and going through some serious things. But I also want to encourage you to give yourself a hug. Show yourself some love. It's nobody's responsibility to do that for you. And so when you go through your moment and you have your moment of grief, you get back on the horse and look to the brighter side, you know? And sometimes, like, I think of this as like the 12 steps. Tell your story to somebody else. Who knows whose life you can change when you are open and honest. I think we have this very disturbing culture where we got to hold shit in. We can't tell people about the things that we've been through because we're embarrassed about how people might look at us. And don't get me wrong. Again, I understand that those are very real feelings that come with the fact of sharing personal things. But it's not real. You have been lied to, family. We've always been a culture of sharing and telling our stories and passing down information. That is how you learn. That's how we learn from one another, so that the next person behind you doesn't make the same mistakes. And if you could change somebody's life through telling your story, why would you hide that? How could we even think that that's real? You know, I get real passionate about this, so I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to shut it down. But I want everybody to know that overall, this energy is absolutely amazing. And then we have Jupiter in Pisces, which will be really close to this new moon. And Jupiter's been in Pisces since the end of December. So at the very least, I think what we're going to begin to see are what we've been learning since Jupiter has been in Pisces. And we're going to reevaluate this far kind of what Jupiter has been trying to teach us and how to further continue with that mission, that purpose of Jupiter in Pisces, which is very spiritual overall. And again, having faith and trusting in the process and testifying, you know, telling how the ways that spirit has showed up for you and has changed your life through a time of despair, you know. Like I said, it's very biblical in that way. But also another thing too, because this is a time to set new intentions. And I've talked about this in other videos before. You really have to understand and learn the moon cycles. And I thought this Jupiter and Pisces energy was a great time to address it, because the Jupiter and Pisces on the lower vibration can bring in lack of clarity. Again, illusions, delusions, not seeing things clearly, lies, deceit. And it's just like a moon void, or again, a retrograde. And so is the first few days that the moon, right when the moon, any new moon or full moon is happening, right? And so I say that to say that you really want to wait a couple of days after any new moon or full moon before you set your intentions, because the moon can't see you at the time of. But as it rises, right, which is every 2 days out of that energy, then you can start to manifest your intentions. Now, it's okay to constantly be thinking about them, reflecting on them, what you want them to do. That's what times of darkness are for, and they're really about. And I talk more about that. And if you've been following me for a while, you already know darkness is not what we've been taught either. That's another lie. And so, and times of darkness are times for reflection, rethinking, reevaluating, addressing things, and healing. Okay? And so as we come to the light and we awaken to the lightness, and we come with the messages that we got from being in darkness, then you set your intentions and you put your intentions out there, and then you take it a step further and you continue that process. I think they say, what, it's like 30 days to change a habit. right? Or some will say 28 days. There are a few different things out there, but I just go ahead. I'm rounding up, right? I'm rounding it up to 30 days, so a whole month. If you do something, same day, same time, and you're consistent with it, and then you also incorporate it into your life. You guys know this is really big for me. It's a personal story that I talk about on this site often, is having your goals and intentions set up somewhere where you can see it frequently. Even if you're not intentionally looking at it, but you know intuitively and underneath the surface that it's there, right? And so what you're doing is now bringing that manifestation into your subconscious as well as the 3D, and you manifest, right? And you'll begin to see those things happening for you, especially after that 30 days if you don't recognize it any time before that. And so now's a really, really, really good time to have those conversations and talk about those things, set of intentions and manifesting, especially with Pisces energy and Jupiter being the luckiest month of the year. All right. So, overall, you want to make any new decisions, that you want to make. You'll be inspired with new ideas and new opportunities for growth, especially around technology, computers, and again, your ideas. And just to add in with that Jupiter energy, Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces, and it's the modern ruler of the 9th house. So we have to talk about that. There's two different placements being lit up, the 12th and the 9th. So the 9th house is the ruler of Sagittarius. And we have to remember, we've just got a clearing in the area of Sagittarius because it was just in the South Node, which ended in December. And we still have 6 months of that energy, even though we're in a new cycle where we are renewing and changing the way we do things and with our Sagittarius energy. So these are things around travel. I can only imagine that we'll start to hear about new technology and stuff when it comes to traveling. I would even say, this is specifically long distance travel, by the way, but it rules the entire traveling industry, right? And so even new things around culture or foreign things, foreign ideas, or foreigners, dealing with people from foreign countries. We can hear a lot of information coming out with that. I know they were saying there's something going on with the immigration. All right, so we can hear something about that at this time. And then this is also culture, if I haven't said it already, and then higher education. So mostly universities, even universal law here. So spirituality here is lit up in a major, major, major way. But I even think that we're going to begin to learn more again about the different multifaceted ways that we can learn that religion actually is spiritual. But you got to know how to read that great book, right? And so we're, again, awakening to the lies that we were told through religion, right? And things can be coming out more about that. And because it rules spirituality and religion. But universal law, right? And so higher education, maybe you're going back to school for something and or learning something new, or you're teaching it. This is also a whole new world view and beliefs and philosophy, okay? And so you could even be doing some kind of podcast, podcasts, YouTubing, blogging, public speaking, broadcasting, publishing. Yeah, those are the things that are kind of ruled by Jupiter energy. And so we could see a lot of these new information and things coming out in this way. I even think teaching, maybe in some way, shape, or form, is going to be online now more, or people will have the option for it, right? Because not everybody wants to learn online. You know, we got some extroverts who need that outside, you know, whatever. I think things about education are going to come up more here, and going to be readdressed in a very innovative kind of way. And there's some people who can learn digitally, and they prefer it that way, and it might be better in some way, shape, or form. And I'm going to be talking about this on a bigger level too, on the careers and how they could be changing, even though I've done some videos on it already. But I think it's a great time to have an updated conversation about it. But I definitely think we're going to see those newer, innovative ways coming in for education, where people might now have options on how they want to learn. Okay, and then Mercury aligns with Saturn. Now, on the lower vibration, Saturn is our fears. Okay, where we lack discipline and responsibility, and not being mature, and having no respect for authority, and depression here can come up. So be real careful for suicide when we're talking about mental health. We got to watch out for that. Make sure you're checking in on your friends and family who you know may be struggling with this. But fear, control, limitations, especially limitations in the mind, pessimism, or pessimistic thoughts and worries about the challenges that may be coming up, can really be emphasized here. So be mindful, family, that you're checking in on people and asking for help. Don't be afraid to reach out if you need the help. But on the positive side of this Mercury aligning with Saturn, this is the teacher-student aspect. So you're learning from somebody of status, of stature, who's mature, responsible, and disciplined, and you're learning how to embody those things. This could definitely be a great time for people who are in business to get more structured and systems in your business, studying and being focused on it, having business meetings. This is my think tank energy. So when you come together with a group of people to have a discussion about how you want the business to go moving forward, right? Those things are important to building a legacy and a dream, okay? Especially with this Pisces energy. This is really dope. Like, this is a great energy to have at this time. Okay? Let's see if there's anything else I can think of. Yeah, Mercury's about the mind, the intellect. Short distance travel, anything on wheels, walking, running, your hands. Believe it or not, Gemini rules the hands. So this could be a lot of business, short business travel. or businesses that have a travel component to it. Yeah, all businesses that are ran on wheels may be on display here. All people are getting more innovative and creative in the way they think about their business on wheels. Or this could be the month where it actually starts to come out, because I mean, typically March can still have snow. It's always like a draw, or it depends on Groundhog Day, right? I think that comes with the month of March. And so let's say if we have a month where we're going to get a lot more snow, then any kind of car business, especially like food trucks and stuff like that, might be in the position where they're kind of playing double dutch here. Like, can I come out now? Or do I just wait to the end of the month type deal? I can definitely see that being a thing here. But overall, this is going to be the energy. This is going to set the stage for the next 4 weeks. And any writing projects too, family. All right, so Thursday later in the day, the moon moves into Aries, and Aries wants to take action. And so we're going to be more motivated to move towards all the things that I just spoke of. And Aries and Venus and Mars are in alignment with Pluto. I talked about this in my Venus and Mars video. So if you didn't check that out, go check that out. But Venus and Mars are traveling together until mid-March. And when they align with Pluto, it kind of brings out the darker sides, if we're being honest. Right? The darker sides of Pluto in relationships. But so that they can be addressed. Right? And so anybody who's in a relationship, who's going through some stuff, go get some counseling. You know, get a reading, because Pluto rules. That's another dichotomy that we could talk about with psychology and counseling. Nobody wants to go to counseling because nobody feels like counseling works, and I tend to agree with that theory. I think it gets you to a certain point. Like, I don't think we should disregard it altogether. But it does get you to a certain point, but then you grow and you evolve. And that's the part that's not being spoken about. Those are all the divinations. So Pluto rules all the parapsychologies, which is astrology, numerology, tarot, psychics, intuitives, you know, all this stuff here. And it is the building and the research of finding those things within yourself, right? And that is a part of growing and evolving as a person, as a human. And when we're not talking about those things and those things are being hidden, it's really messed up, because it stagnates you from becoming your truest potential of who you could be and who you're meant to be in this lifetime. And so this is another shattering of truths that I think will come out at this time. It will be addressed in some way, shape, or form. And hopefully that opens up the doors for people using more divinations for healing. But this can also be very creative, passionate, romantic energy whenever we're talking about Pluto. Very ambition and focused, even being vulnerable on your creative passions, your romantic passions, or whatever this is for you. It's really going to depend on what house it's in. That's going to make the difference on how this is playing out. But I'd go back to that video and listen to it and see where this is coming up for you. And then Friday, the moon in Aries is the same we're still pretty much working through the same stuff, but there are no aspects at that time. And then Saturday, the sun will align with Jupiter, which is going to be giving us a glimpse to May and the next, between May and I think it's 6 months, May and to October, when Jupiter moves into Aries. And so I did a video on that as well. You can go check it out to see what to expect, but I'll be talking more about that the closer that we get to it. But it'll be shining a light on all things Jupiter, which I've already explained, but travel, education, publishing, broadcasting, blogging, public speaking, podcasting, spirituality, universal law, and Venus will align with Mars, which is very sensual, passionate energy. I had a blog. I'm going to have to do a bigger, I got to go back and get that blog and just do a video on all the things that Mars rules. Excuse me, family, but Mars rules quite a bit of things that would shock the heck out of you if you didn't know anything about astrology. And I'm not going to get into it here, but I am going to make it a point to go and get that written out podcast and write about it from a more I'm gonna do it in a video rather, so that people can have access to it. But definitely this is your motivation, and definitely more sexualized here, especially when we're talking about Pisces, because Pisces is a very sexual energy. And so I think when you bring those two together, somebody's having some babies. I'm just saying. So be careful if you're fertile and you don't want to have no babies. And then Mars will move into Aquarius. And this is very future-oriented, inventive, tech things around anything that covers technology, social, romantic, especially with your friends. You could fall in love with a friend. And any group activities, networking events, outgoing reunions with friends, celebrations, concerts, stadiums, any kind of stadium events. With Pisces, it could be a Broadway show or something like that. Just getting out and about, really, really, really having a good time with friends, your groups of friends that you belong to, your networking. This is going to be a really, really, really great energy. I even think for people out there, I would go back to that Jupiter in Aquarius, which was last year. I would go back and listen to that video that I did for the horoscopes to see what is going to be manifesting for you. And then Sunday, the moon moves into Taurus, which is very determined to settle into a routine and accomplish your goals, which I think is really perfect. But Taurus is also a lot more laid back, calm, cool, and collected. So we're working smarter now, not harder, with Taurus and Uranus, right? And so I really think that we're going to begin to master that Taurus energy, which has been in Taurus since 2018, by the way. And so I'd go back and check that video out too. But I think all the downloads are going to begin to come now on how exactly to do that. How do you work smarter, not harder? And I think a lot more systems and structures are going to be created in a more smarter, not harder way. So these are things like solar panels, things that help us take care of the earth, things that are more sustainable and stable, reliable. even. So maybe, again, more work from home stuff, because it saves gas and pollution, right? And it's going to save money. I talked about this in my other video. So if you've been following me for a while, this might be a lot of repeat. But I think now we're going to really begin to see a lot of those things, especially because Taurus is in the North Node. And anytime we have a transiting sign in the North Node, it's kind of where we want to move towards as a collective, right? You'll have to go to your chart to see where it's happening for you personally. But as a collective, and on a bigger level, what we're addressing here is how to be more sustainable, reliable, and stable. And, you know, this is more investment, saving, budgeting, not spending on materialism. Unless you have the money for it, you know, and really, really have the money for it. Not having seven cars, you know, for the rich and famous. You don't need all those cars. You know, this is about having one car. Maybe even cars turning more electric, electric vehicles. A lot of these types of things here we're going to be talking about and moving more into for the foreseeable future. So family, as usual, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.